No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way.
He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Talking on it though, then
He
you
a
can't work it up
legend.
later.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items. Got churn beats going. Yesterday was an exciting day. A lot of new items came out for the next season. So on the PB, all the new Mythic items came out. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the Marksman items. We're going to do a little bit of a comparison, looking at the numbers, and kind of explaining why this is significant and why we should pay close attention as we get into next year. So basically, the underlying theory behind this video is that in a lot of ways, items determine which champions are optimal at any point in time. So like, there are champions with game-breaking abilities that, regardless of what items are in the game, maybe they would see some play. But in order for them to be at their absolute peak, meta-defining champions, they really need the assistance of items to get to that next level. Now, with Mythic items, we don't know how some of these passives and actives are going to like impact the game itself. But in the past, the easiest way to find some of these broken items is by doing some basic gold efficiency analysis, and then you take a look at what their base stats look like, and then you also look at the conditional stuff that allows it to get to 100% gold efficient, and we look at the ceiling case, and the ceiling case is generally what people are attracted to. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So like I said, these are the Marksman Mythics. LeagueofLegends.com has a list of everything. I went into the PBE thanks to Paul, and he let me get some like screenshots of the different items that are in there. So I have a sheet, obviously you see it in front of me, where all of the items, I think basically all the items in the game are in this sheet in their current iteration. I haven't gotten all of the PBE information, but what I do is I run calculations based off of the base stat values of things. So like attack damage, for example, which will be relevant for this video. Attack damage is worth 35 gold per 180. And those are the kinds of things that are non-negotiable. If this video is going to have any value for you, you have to kind of just take that as it is. And I think there are some interesting arguments to like change how much that number is actually worth in terms of how it impacts the game. But that's way too theoretical for this video. So let's just get into the three items. We have Gale Force, Immortal Shield Bow, and Kraken Slayer. So Gale Force was one of the first Mythic items that was shown to everybody. There was a video of like, I think it was Ash just bursting forward like with an actual dash, and it kind of caught some people off guard, and that's how they introduced Mythic items, and I thought that was a really cool idea. So since these are all targeted at Marksman, there is a lot of overlap in terms of what they offer. So let's just start with Gale Force. So Gale Force, you get 55 attack damage, 20% attack speed, 20% critical strike, and the active that we've been talking about, Zephyr Strike. Dash in target direction, firing 3 missiles at the lowest health enemy near your destination, prioritizing champions, deals a total of 180 magic damage, increased against low health targets by up to 50%. So there will be times, like I think this is going to be a pretty good item for a lot of players who are playing immobile champions, because you'll have that additional dash to potentially get away, but it also gives you an aggressive option, which when you can use it both ways, it's always better. So like Hextech Protobelt is similar in how this works. The damage isn't really what I'm focused on right now, because like the active is going to change the situational strength of the item, but it's not going to change the constant power of the item. And again, you may disagree with that, which is understandable. I just don't think there's an easy way to quantify that for this kind of analysis, so I'll leave it at that. Another thing with mythics that we have to learn is the new mythic passive abilities. So I I basically extrapolated the information based off of how many legendary items you have. In my opinion, the most important breakpoints are going to be these two right here. So it's not going to fundamentally change the item, but this is really, in my opinion, the most important time of the game when you're on your second item power spike, third item power spike. I think second item is much more important than third. It'll be interesting to see how the new pricing impacts what items are built first and second and so forth. But for now, we're just focused on these three items. So next up, we had Immortal Shieldbow. 50 attack damage, 15% attack speed, 20% critical strike, 12% lifesteal. So now we have an item with lifesteal, a mythic with lifesteal. You get lifeline. When taking damage that would reduce you below 30% health, gain a 250 shield. In addition, gain 20% lifesteal for 8 seconds. So if I was going to try to quantify this, I would do 250 times the value of health, which is 2.66 repeating, and then 20% lifesteal. But like the value of the value of lifeline is kind of obvious. Like you're not trying to get gold out of it really. Like you're not trying to increase your like economic strength, because in order for you to reach that condition, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. So it's really just meant to save your life. And if it saves your life, it's worth much more than 3,400 gold, because the champion's base stats and all the other items and things like that are worth a lot more than 3,400 gold. Again, that's not something that people normally talk about or think about. That's an opinion of mine. So take that for what it's worth. The mythic passive grants all other legendary items 8 armor and 8 magic resistance. So already Immortal Shieldbow is doing a little bit better than Gale Force in terms of the scaling portion of the mythic passive. Last up, we have Kraken Slayer. 60 attack damage, 25% attack speed, 20% crit. Bring it down. It reminds me of throw it down, big man. Throw it down. Every third attack is enhanced. If you don't understand basketball, that's not going to make any sense. Every third attack is enhanced, gaining an additional 85 true damage. So this is an anti-tank item. Obviously, you could see somebody like Vayne building this. Maybe like Ginsu's plus Kraken Slayer becomes a popular build for her. There are a lot of on-hit items that might make sense for Vayne in the next when this comes out. The mythic passive grants all other legendary items 10% attack speed. So 10% attack speed is very good. It's not going to scale as well as Immortal Shieldbow in terms of like pure ability value or pure stat value. But obviously, a lot of players will make the argument, I'd rather have Kraken Slayer, build a few other utility items, I'll get the attack speed that I need to function correctly as an AD carry, and I'll worry about everything else at a different point in time. So I do think that Kraken Slayer will make a good argument for being the strongest item out of these three. So let's take a look at how they stack up to one another in the base stats. So the item that gives the most attack damage is Kraken Slayer. Attack damage is worth 35 gold per point. The base efficiency is 104. So the way that I look at this is like it would be like a heartbeat, right? So like in the game, when none of the conditions are being met, it's just worth 3,525 gold. So as an investment, you're spending 3,400 gold. You're instantly getting 125 additional value out of it. And then obviously, every third attack being enhanced by 85 true damage, you could try to turn that into an on-hit number, because on-hit damage is worth 40 gold a point. So if you divided that by 3 or something, and you wanted to give some other kind of value to it, you could try doing that. But again, those are the situations where it gets more difficult to figure out, like, is that honest math? And there are a lot of people out there who are much better mathematicians than I am, because I'm not a mathematician. But I'd love to hear from anyone if they are a mathematician. They give me some like feedback on this. So yeah, Kraken Slayer has the most attack damage. Second is Gale Force. And again, I think Gale Force will be very popular because the active is going to make people feel more comfortable. It might turn into an item, not Zanya's really, but Zanya's adjacent. I think the flexibility of the item will make it much more attractive If you only think of it as a source of damage, then you're missing out on a lot of the item's upside. And move speed is nice in general. A lot of people are talking about a move speed creep. Kind of undeniable, I guess. Last up, Immortal Shield Bow has the lowest amount of attack damage. And this is really like to replace the Death's Dance style that we've seen with Aphelios. I'm sure Kog'Maw could build something like this. Jinx could probably justify building something like this. So this might be for the champions that like don't necessarily want to rush a mythic item. Maybe this is the second item that you get. So like you build Berserker Greaves plus a Zeal item, get Immortal Shield Bow, and now you're ready to go. In team fights, you'll have a lot of support from your teammates, and maybe that's what makes Immortal Shield Bow worth it. So like if a champion has an innate ability to scale into the game, Immortal Shield Bow will probably be a good option for them. Crit, they all give the same amount of crit, which is 20%. In terms of attack speed, Kraken Slayer gives the most attack speed. For lifesteal, Immortal Shield Bow is the only one that gives lifesteal. And then was there another stat? No, those are the basic stats that are involved. So basically, if I had to give my opinion on which item I think will be the best out of these three, I think as time goes on, it depends on what champions like become very popular. Why is that like that? Active is 1975. I think this is outdated information. I think not sure why the active would be 1975. Because I didn't put a value on that. We'll get rid of that. Passives, we'll get rid of that. And for that reason, this isn't going to change. Like, I could incorporate the mythic passive stuff, but I'm going to have to redo a lot of my sheet. So, if you're the kind of person who looks at the meta from a champion-first perspective, then I think that it's clear that an item like Immortal Shield Bow could be very strong in a meta where Aphelios or Jinx is very strong because they have that natural scaling ability. For every other AD carry, I think Kraken Slayer and Gale Force will be more popular because they are just huge stat items. Like Kraken Slayer getting the additional true damage is going to be good in most situations. And then obviously Gale Force is an item that most people are generally attracted to. So it's like, would you rather have the dash and some damage, or would you rather have the attack speed and the true damage? They'll probably switch up these numbers a little bit, but the last thing I'm going to say before we get out of here, if this is the first time you've ever considered something like gold efficiency for items, just take a look at these numbers, and if you watch a few of these videos, you're going to realize this isn't by accident. Riot will typically try to get the base efficiency around 100, and then it fluctuates based on how difficult the conditions are to meet in the game. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out my other mythic item breakdowns, and I'll talk to you later.